Welcome to the 8th AAR for the Combat Mission Scottish Corridor campaign. In the campaign so far, I've led the 9th Cameronians to 3 victories and the 2nd Argyll and Sutherland Highlanders to 3 victories and 1 loss. I've been able to push the German forces south, repelling several attacks by the 12th and the 22nd SS. I've captured the main road and rail route west out of Caen, crossed and held the ground south of the River Odin, and now the 2nd are dug in around the village of Garvus. For this battle, we've skipped forward and it's now the 29th of June. The 2nd have been reinforced and resupplied. C and B companies are now back to full strength, however the reinforcements are green soldiers, so I need to consider this. It's 13:10 hours, and 11 platoon are stationed on the southern edge of Garvus. The terrain is classic Normandy, with brocage and small open crop fields with plentiful apple orchards. Battalion have advised of an approaching German force, thought to be company strength. There are reports of vehicles, but it's not expected to be tanks. Battalion intel to date has been incorrect multiple times, so I'm taking this with some doubt. The rain has stopped and the ground is dry, which means vehicles have good mobility over all terrain. It's warm and line of sight is fine, but limited by the brocage. My force consists of 11 platoon B company with 12 platoon on their way. 14 platoon C company is also expected to arrive in about 15 minutes. I have 1 6-pounder with 2 Lloyd carriers which I'm to exit before the end of the mission. I have no Bren carriers or arty support, it's just Piats and 2-inch mortars that are part of the British platoon's order of battle. We're looking southwest, with 11 platoon positioned to the north, or bottom of the AO, and the German assault expected to come from the southwest, or the top of the map. Whilst I'd like to ambush the attackers as they advance, I assume my defenders will be spotted, and I expect the Germans to have fire superiority. This means I need to plan for a fighting withdrawal, which will be greatly helped by the concealment of the brocage. I'll also relocate the 6-pounder to cover the only entrance from the southwest, but give myself plenty of time to exit it off the map. My primary objective is to hold my ground. My secondary is to withdraw the 6-pounder AT gun and exit it out of the AO. I have around 30 minutes to hold the 3 terrain phase lines, blue, yellow and red. My plan is very rudimentary. I will defend each line, manoeuvre forces where needed and fall back based upon casualty rates. I start with only a single platoon in position with 3 sections, each comprising a Sten, Lee Enfields and a Bren. I also have a single Bren team, a Piat team and a 2-inch mortar. I've split my sections into 2 detachments, one formed around the section leader's Sten, one around the Bren. I'm hoping the mobility of the platoon 2-inch mortar gives me a force multiplier to counter the Jerry MGs, with its ability to put HE behind the brocage. With all the theory said, let's start the battle. I immediately start to reposition 11 platoon from phase line yellow to phase line blue, and reposition the 6-pounder to phase line blue on my right flank. Within the first minute, we spot Jerry at the brocage opposite phase line blue. The 6-pounder team comprises 2 Lloyd's carriers, one pulling the gun, the other one carrying the ammunition. They're quickly mobile and start to reposition as the first fire comes in. One platoon is the focus of Jerry's fire. As I anticipated, the German squads have superior firepower. But I have 2-inch mortars. The 21st SS appear to be massing on my right flank. Meanwhile, the green troops of 3 section are rattled and start to withdraw. Two section attempts to upset the SS's build-up, but they have a Puma armoured car in support. Its 20mm cannon is an extremely effective weapon. Mortar rounds, which aren't mine, start to land around phase line blue. More rounds from the 21st SS fall on the blue line. I don't know if they're direct fire or spotting rounds for a coming bombardment. The 6-pounder has relocated to my right flank, and I'm hoping it'll get line of sight on the Puma. 1 and 3 sections are defending my left and centre line. The red lines identify where the 21st SS are massing their forces, and the red arrows show where there are potential lines of attack are. The green troops of 3 section are already starting to get rattled, so I've made the decision to pull back to phase line yellow. I shall also send a scout team up the road on my right flank to see if they can get into a flanking position behind the assaulting 21st SS. Puma is a concern. I have limited AT, but I'll just have to adapt as the battle moves forward. With only 10 minutes elapsed, let's keep fighting. The 6-pounder is pinned and the crew start to withdraw. They had no line of sight through the blockage, and as mortars are starting to fall, I make the decision to withdraw and exit the 6-pounder. As mortar rounds continue to fall, I make the assumption that they're spotting rounds, and 1 and 3 sections continue their quick withdrawal. It seems the initial assault from the 21st SS is going to come on my right flank, defended by 2 section. The Puma doesn't appear to have a clear line of sight on this area of the blockage. 12 Platoon B Company arrive just as the munitions Lloyd moves to the main road to exit off of the battlefield. The 21st continue to put pressure on my right flank. It's sporadic and easily repelled. If the 6-pounder packed up, they drive through the advancing 12 platoon to exit out of the AO. They're too slow to relocate on such a small and fluid battlefield. Battalion orders set them as a priority to exit, so I wave farewell. I order 12 Platoon B Company to reinforce the right flank, and I move 2 Section 11 Platoon B Company to reinforce my left and centre. A light barrage falls on my blue line, causing fatalities in some of the casualties that have been left behind. Meanwhile, a two-man detachment from 12th Platoon start to scout out the road on my right flank. Meanwhile, the reinforcements of 12th Platoon trade ordnance with the 21st SS on my right flank. "20 minutes into the battle, and my defence is holding at the blue line. I have a small ambush force in the buildings on my left flank. On my right flank, the Bren team is scouting the road, and one section 12th Platoon is in support. The primary attack of the 21st continues to come from my right flank, whilst two fire bases have been set up at the Brocharge. I anticipate an attack on my left flank through the cornfields. But the £1,000,000 question is, what is the Puma going to do? Attack my right flank, move into the centre and support the left? I have a Piat team covering each avenue of attack, but it's not the greatest AT weapon. Let's see how the next 10 minutes goes. Immediately, the Puma starts to relocate. It looks like it's heading northwest towards my right flank. I withdraw some of 14th Platoon in an effort to add depth to my defence. Suddenly the Puma makes a hard right turn and starts to head east. "12 Platoon's Piat team move up, and of course, Corporal Ingram takes a shot to the face. The Puma has driven east across the cornfield, but stopped halfway. I don't know if they've become bogged or just stopped for a bratwurst. The road on my right flank appears clear, so one section continued to push forward. They're out of contact with the platoon commander, but they're regulars, so I hope they'll use their initiative. They move into a flanking position behind the Brocharge. Just as one section opened fire, the SS begin their attack upon my right flank.
Enemy contact!
Caught in a crossfire from 12 platoon, 1 section and 3 section of the blockage and 2 section in the flanking manoeuvre, the SS attack is repelled. Just as an attack on my left flank commences. With support from the Puma. Two section 12 platoon tried to catch the attacking Germans in enfilade fire. They also helped rout the attack on my right flank. As a second attack wave comes in on my left flank, the ambushers in the building let loose. The Piat team repeatedly fire at the Puma, but the range is a problem. Finally a hit. With the Puma taken out, the threat on my defensive line is greatly reduced. I make the decision to withdraw the ambushing team on my left flank and continue to push the right flank towards the mortar team that is spotted in the southwest. I've halted the SS attack. Now it's just a case of biding my time. I hope. Over the next 10 minutes, B Company apply buddy aid and defend the line. I continue to take sporadic casualties, including an extremely important Piat team. And as the time draws to an end, I get a British Army tactical victory. I've secured the defensive area and inflicted acceptable casualties, including the armoured car. I've also managed to keep my own casualties to a minimum. The only success that the 21st SS saw was they touched the blue line. I'm fine with the tactical victory, I'm happy with the kill ratio, and I'm more happy with the points distribution. All in all, not a bad result. As the victor, let's have a look at the battlefield. You can see the disposition of the forces, and keep an eye on the bottom left-hand corner for the battle stats. If we look at Jerry first, on my left flank, we inflicted a good amount of casualties. I lost the Piat team, not a good thing. Looking at the centre, the SS were well equipped, but I think their attack was poorly coordinated. This HMG team was taken out by one of the first mortars at the beginning of the battle. The 2-inch mortars are a real effective weapon in the Brocage. A quick look through some of 11 platoon stats. Some good numbers, including the PSW 234. Despite Puma's firepower, it only inflicted 2 casualties. In hindsight, I think I took the section too far out on my right flank, didn't have platoon control, and took too many casualties really. All in all, I'm happy with this battle. That's 7 victories out of 8 battles, so I think I'm doing pretty well in the campaign. I hope everybody enjoyed the video, and I'll get the next one out as quickly as I can. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.